If your shoulders are feeling stiff, achy, tight or painful and you want some instant relief and you don't know what to do yourself, or you can't get yourself to go and see someone for a massage, then this is what you need, a lacrosse ball. And I'm going to show you exactly what to do with it right now. So when it comes to shoulders, think of it as three sides. You've got your front, side and back. Now we're going to work the front part first. This is the pec muscle, pectoralis, and then you've got your front part of your deltoid muscle, which is the shoulder muscle that has that nice round appearance. To get into your pec, what you're going to do is run your hand from outside to inside until you feel it dip in. Once you've dipped in, you know that you're off the deltoid and now you're into the pec muscle. So you're going to place your ball just into that little dip and then come up against a corner of a room or a door frame. So I'm going to show you from this side, but when you're doing it, you might want to just do it from the wall side, just so you've got more purchase against the wall. So press up into the door or door frame or corner and move it around until you can find a point that is a bit tender. Once you find that tender point, stop, press and hold. And you can hold for 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Once you've done that in that place, then you can bring it more towards the midline and more towards the midline, and you can also bring it more downwards as well. Just go with where feels comfortable and make sure you're not pressing against any delicate tissues. The next part that I would work after you've done your pec muscle is the front part of your shoulder, the deltoid. Now underneath here, you've also got the attachment points for your pec. You've also got bicep tendon and some of your rotator cuff muscles attached quite near here as well. So this point, this part of your shoulder can be very tender. So don't overdo it. And if you feel like it's really painful, then just stop or ease up the pressure. So you would bring the ball from where you were to begin with for the pec, bring it more towards the outside. And then same thing, you press into the door frame or the corner of the wall and move around until you can find the point where it's tender. So I would come this kind of angle, press in, move around, move your body to fit the shape of your arm and your shoulder. When you find that tender point, then press and hold. So right now I'm into this front part of my shoulder here. You can also work slightly downwards, more towards the elbow. You don't need to go all the way down, although you could if you wanted to, as long as it's on muscle. So you can work from top part here, come down into about this sort of area here. This area can be quite painful, so do be careful. Start with about 20 to 30 seconds and build it up over time to about a minute. So once you've worked the front part of your chest and your shoulder, then come into the side. Now this can also be very painful, particularly as you come down to where the deltoid muscles attach. You can feel it, so as you roll your fingers down, you'll find that there's almost like a little dip. That's usually very tender for most people. So for the side of your shoulder, come up against a wall. This time you don't have to worry about doing it into a door frame. Place the ball just on the side of your shoulder, lean up against a wall, move it around until you can find a tender point. So if you don't find a tender point there, then bring the ball slightly further down. Again, move around until you find the tender point. Now I've got one here, so I'm going to rest and hold in that position for 30 seconds. Once you've done 30 seconds, then you can move the ball slightly further down and again, move it around until you find a tender point. And again, press and hold. So once you've worked into the sides all the way from top to bottom, then we need to go into the back of the shoulder. Okay, so now we're going to work into the back of your shoulder. Now this can be very difficult for some people to get into. I used to teach it like this. You'd put the ball underneath your arm, and then with this hand, you would pull your elbow across and place it here. Then you would go into the wall and move it around like so. But you guys have given me an awesome tip, and that is to grab yourself a sock. And what you're going to do is put the ball into the sock and then you can hang it over your shoulder and adjust the position of the ball from there. Okay, so I've placed the ball within the sock. What you're going to do then is hold the ball over your shoulder, so that way you don't have to force your arm into all these funny positions. So place the ball over your shoulder, hover it into your shoulder blade, and then with that press up against the wall and work it into there. And you've got hold of the sock, so that means if you move into a position and the ball slips, it's not going to go anywhere. So place the ball over your shoulder, turn to face the wall, and then move it around and find a tender point. And then once you find that tender point, then hold. Now in the back of the shoulder, in around here, you will find a lot of tender points. So just to make it easier for you to understand where we're trying to work in the back of the shoulder, find the bony landmarks of your shoulder first. So you've got this ridge that goes along the top of your shoulder, and then you've got this corner here. So from these two, drop down and then towards your arm, so at an angle. I usually like to get the ball around here to start with, so this lower part, and work my way up towards this top corner. So what I mean by that is I like to start around here and then work it up this way. So you're pressing into the wall, move it around, so you're moving down and slightly across until you can find where it's tender, press and hold, and then after about 30 seconds to 60 seconds, then move to another point, try and find another tender point, press and hold, and keep repeating until you feel like you've done the whole lot of the shoulder blade. Now the next bit you could do if you wanted to is the top part of your shoulder here, or the upper part of your back. This is a bit more difficult, especially if you're coming at it at a flat angle. So what you need to do is get the ball into that part there and then lean back and come up against the wall from there. That way it's not going to slip out. So if I place the ball here, then I can lean back and press into the wall like so. And again, find tender points, press and hold 30 to 60 seconds, and then move to another point. Now, since we're working this kind of upper region, we're almost very close to some of the back muscles as well. And since you have a ball in your sock, what you could also do is work just in between the shoulder blade and the spine, because you'll find that there's probably quite a few muscles in there that are also quite tender. So what I mean is, drop the ball down your back along here. Anywhere along that line alongside the spine will be muscular, so you can work into all of that, and there will be some tender points. So you can press and hold and just do the same thing, press and hold against the wall. So you could be starting from the top, press and hold, and then drop the sock down a little bit lower, press and hold, drop the sock a bit lower, press and hold, and just keep repeating all the way down. These massage balls are amazing. It's going to take a bit of time for you to get used to using them, but once you've done it a few times, you will learn to absolutely love these. What I would suggest is find a tender point, press into it and hold for 30 seconds to start with. Now, you can get quite sore from using these balls, so only start with once per spot and move on to another area. I also recommend that you use these balls every other day, because what you'll find is that if you're using them every day, then that will make you more sore. And it also means that you won't get a chance for your shoulders to recover. So every other day, start with 30 seconds, and as you get more and more used to it, then build it up towards 60 seconds. There are 3 phases to pain I want you to know about, so you know when to use one of these. If you are experiencing shoulder pain and it's very acute, now is not the time to be using this. You need your pain levels to come down from 8 or 7 out of 10 to about a 5 or below. Once your pain goes less than a 5 out of 10, then you can start to use one of these and also start to stretch. Once your pain levels are less than a 5 out of 10, you are now out of that pain phase and into the stretch phase. that is a perfect time to be using one of these or to be stretching your shoulders. So phase 2 is to use one of these and to stretch. Once you've stretched and you've got that mobility back and your muscles are less tight, then you want to consider strengthening your shoulders. So now that you understand that, I want you to go here to learn about your shoulder pain, and I want you to go here to learn about how to strengthen your shoulders.